If there's one single tax that's likely to make your head compress, make your ears bleed, make you despair and cause frustration, then that one tax is VAT, or value added tax, or very awkward tax as it might be called. It's a tax that's over 50 years old in the United Kingdom. It's a tax that's very popular with tax authorities around the world. It may be called sales tax. And in the United Kingdom, it brings in an eye-watering £132 billion worth of tax revenue. Is it going to disappear anytime soon? No way. In this video, I'm going to cover 4 things that are really important for business owners that are within the VAT system to worry about. 1 is mindset. Number 2 is pricing. Number 3 is profitability. And lastly, the 4th P is process. Hi folks, welcome to another weekly video on I Hate Numbers. My name is Mahmood. I'm a proud accountant, educator and author of the book I Hate Numbers. What a fantastic title. My journey, my mission over the last 27 plus years in business has been to help businesses like yours improve what goes on between their ears and win more battles than you lose, increase your financial awareness, help your business make more money, save tax and save time. Hit that subscribe button, make sure you subscribe and keep up to date with videos that are produced on a weekly basis to help you on your business journey. Let's crack on with the video. The first thing to remember about VAT, the first thing to emphasize about VAT is actually a badge of success. If you are in that situation where you have to register for VAT, then that means that your business is generating a sufficient level of sales to actually make sure that you have to register. Currently, the register figure is £85,000, and if you're generating £85,000 a year over a 12-month cycle in your business, that's got to be worth celebrating. Now, in terms of mindset, that awkward taxes, put these things at the forefront of your consciousness. Once you have to register for VAT, you become that army of thousands of people like my businesses and many clients that help, that you become that unpaid tax collector. You operate the system on behalf of the tax offices. You collect the money from your customers. You pay it over to your suppliers. You complete the relevant forms, typically once a quarter. Then remember, that is your primary role. You are an unpaid tax collector. The money that you collect from customers where VAT is being charged, the money that you're paying over to your suppliers where they're billing you, you collect that, you record that, you put that to one side. It doesn't belong to you, so consciously, when you are collecting VAT, recommend set up a separate business account, and when that money comes in, when you're invoicing your clients, put a proportion away in a separate bank account and don't get into problems over that. So remember, that mindset is success, but it also means you've got responsibilities placed upon your shoulders, and the way it will work is if you get them wrong, that's not only just a slap on the wrist, but financially it could be quite painful as well. But if you operate in the correct way from the very beginning, do it the right way, you'll keep out of jail, you'll run a very successful business here, and you'll get used to that cycle. Now, number 2 is pricing, really important. And what is important to remember is it depends the type of client, depends the type of customer you have. Typically, there are 2 relationships that you can have in your business. You could be selling as a business that's registered for VAT to another business that's also registered for VAT. Largely, your prices can remain the same. You just add the relevant percentage to your value of your goods or your services. It's neutral, you're no worse off, and if anything, you're likely to make more profits by selling business to business. Where the problem comes in, if your customer is not registered for VAT. Typically, what they call in VAT circles a B2C transaction. Don't you just love acronyms? B2C is when you're selling to a business that's not registered for VAT. You're selling to an organisation like a charity or not-for-profit that isn't registered for VAT. And then you've got that decision to make. Now, if you want to maintain the same level of profitability, the same level of profit margin, your choice is you either add 20% to the value of the goods and services you're selling to stay the same. Now, if you are recovering VAT, so if your suppliers are adding on VAT to your bill, so typically accounting fees, professional fees, goods that you're buying in for reselling, VAT will be in there. then you don't necessarily have to add the full percentage there because you will be saving money. But think about the pricing. You can either share the pain with your client, you can either get them to take the hit and maybe it's an opportunity to review your pricing structure, or you absorb it all and that means your profit margins will decline, the cash flow declines as well. The next thing to consider is the impact on profitability. And profitability is literally the value of the services that you're selling going outwards, some hard cash, the value of the goods and services you buy in. The difference between those two, ignoring the VAT, is the profit margins that you take. Typically selling B2C, selling to retail customers, individuals, you will find your profit margins will dip if you don't address that pricing conversation. And you've got to address that pricing conversation. The last thing to consider, folks, is what I call process. Now, once you become registered for VAT, it will sound very painful, it will sound very erroneous. You need to make sure that your record keeping is at a good standard. Now, having a digital system will obviously help you with that. There are regulations now placed on all businesses that are registered for VAT. In the UK, we call it MTD. It's under the umbrella of Making Tax Digital, but then they call it Making VAT Digital. Effectively, you must submit your VAT returns through an electronic medium. You've got to make sure you keep relevant records. You've got to be seen to understand all the rules that apply. And for most businesses, the rules are quite light touch, quite straightforward. Your own particular sector may have particular nuances on them, but effectively you need to be familiar or certainly have an advisor who can advise you on what to do. In the main, those systems are relatively straightforward. There are a myriad of rules here, but we can deal with that in another episode. So let's summarise what we've got. Once you enter that world of VAT, when you have to become registered for VAT, you then have to comply with the regulations and rules. It's a sign of success because your business has reached a certain level of sales activity. So celebrate that. In the next breath, remember you are that unpaid tax collector. You must operate on behalf. And by the way, folks, if you don't operate on behalf of the government correctly, on behalf of the tax offices, it will be financially quite painful, and you could also face more adverse consequences depending on how you comply or don't with the system. You've got to think about your pricing. That's conversations got to be had at the very beginning with you and your clients. Think about it carefully. It may be a chance to review and revise your prices, do some number crunching and find out what's going on. Profitability will be affected if you're selling to those individuals or other businesses that aren't registered. If you're selling B2B, it's largely neutral, and if anything, you're likely to make more profits as a result. And lastly, process. Make sure you've got a good record keeping system. Make sure you comply. Make sure those invoices are issued correctly. There's a whole myriad of rules, and if you check out the link in the show notes, I'll divert you to some resources here which are going to help you. Folks, I hope you found some value from this video. If you have, I'd love it if you could obviously share that, subscribe, and share it with those people that you feel will get some benefit. Give me some feedback, give me some comment, and if there's a topic that you feel that you'd like covered in a future I Hate Numbers video, then drop me a line. I'm happy to look at it and happy to consider it. Until that time, folks, happy VAT-ing.